Hey guys, what's going on? It's Luke. Hope you're having a great day. In this installment of the Ableton Quick Tip Series, we're going to talk about parallel processing and why you want to use it. By the way, if you find this helpful at all and you like this kind of content and hey, maybe even like me, go ahead and like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram. That would really help me out and help me engage with you guys. Now, this might be a total no-brainer for some of you guys, but I kind of just recently realized that I am not using this method frequently enough. So I thought I would run through it real quick. So I'm just going to use this drum bus as my example. And this is just one scenario in which you would want to use parallel processing. But so let's say, so here I've got this drum kit, which is mainly composed of addictive drums and a couple samples like thrown in differently, interspersed rather. And then I've got some specific processing on each individual drum track, but mainly we're looking at the processing that I'm doing on the group to mesh all the drums together. So here's what it sounds like right now. Some of the low end is missing from the kick, but I'm working on adding that back in with another sample because that's just kind of the way I wanted to do it. So let's say I want to add another effect on top of this. So right now I have, this is what it sounds like dry. So we're doing a lot of work with this drum bus, decapitator, and event horizon. So let's say I want to add an instance of Devil Lock on, which is this Soundtoys plugin that emulates Shure Level Lock. So here's what it sounds like just straight up. And without it. So it really pulls up that high end and kind of squishes everything together. Well, in this instance and in many others, when you're employing a plugin that drastically changes the character of something, you might be losing some of what you liked about the original sound. And so in order to add and to remedy that problem of losing things that you want, you can just mix in a little bit of whatever plugin you're working with. So let's say I want to do that here. What I can do is right click on the plugin and click group. Now I can see this chain that has the plugin on it, and then I can right click again and say create chain. So what I've done now is added one that's dry, which means that it's the signal without that plugin running through it. So I can name that dry and this one wet. And so now you can mix in the effect on top of the dry one. So let's see what that starts to sound like. So now I've mixed in minus 7 dB of the wet signal with Devil Lock on it, and I have just the original dry signal here. So you can hear what the difference would be. That's just wet. And then the dry signal comes back underneath it to add the weight that we originally had. But we still get that crunch and added high distortion from the wet chain that we have. So anyway, I wanted to just call attention to this concept because a lot of times a plugin that we bring in to alter the sound of something or distort it will often take away, for example, the low-end content of that sound that we're working on. And that can be a problem, so you want to make sure that you have an easy, quick way of getting that back and still mixing in the effect that you wanted in the first place. But the fun doesn't stop there. Oh no. You can do a lot with adding different parallel chains on effect racks like this. Like, for example, you might want to affect only the high-end content of something separately from the low end. So like you're messing with an 808 and you want to beef up the lows but add some distortion to the highs and make the highs out wide. You could put an EQ on both chains and then put one cutoff to affect the highs that you want, and then just put the opposite on the other chain. And that way you can basically split the frequency bands to then have two separate chains that have different effects. So basically you can just use it as like a splitter, and then like every effect that comes after that, you're basically affecting the separate frequency bands. And then more generally speaking, parallel compression, kind of like we did with the Devil Lock in the first place, basically adding a compressor and then mixing back in the dry signal. That's a great way to just beef up your drums in general. So I would recommend trying it on your drum group. Just add some kind of compressor. Could be Devil Lock, or it could be an SSL bus compressor or whatever. Throw it on, and then mix the wet signal with the dry, and then you're going to end up really thickening up your percussion. And you could do that on the master if you wanted. Anyway, I hope this wasn't too basic for you guys. I think it's kind of cool. So hope you learned something. Hope this was inspiring in some way or another. Hope you are creating some cool stuff today. And if you aren't, then I believe in you and you can start now. Anyway, hope you continue having a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.